Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here, and today I want to talk to you all a little bit about a certain trinket that I think is flying under the radar. The buffs and changes to it last week flew under the radar. That looks really good. It might be one you want to purchase depending on what you're doing in the raid with your first NR coming this week in Turbo Boost. Now, for those that aren't familiar with this, about a week ago, Blizzard pushed a handful of changes to trinkets, some classes here and there, and sort of flew under the radar with like class buffs being in here, changes, whatever, bug fixes and all that. Three trinkets were affected by this. Now, Carved Blaziken Wax, which is from Darkflame Cleft, had a verse increased by 150%. Ruby was increased by 10%. This was nerfed, I think, towards the end of Shadowlands anyways, and carried over into now. My hair is a disaster. Just noticed that. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The trinket I want to hit on today, we're going to sim all three of these, but the trinket I want to hit on today is Entropic Skardyn Core. This is from the Rookery, right? The last boss in there. They increased the intellect by 15%, which is a proc, and gives a lot of intellect as well. And the fragments will attempt to return to the core. Attempt is a word you can use. Attempt means they just move into you. You're no longer running around grabbing them. This is a substantial buff to this trinket, both gameplay-wise as well as just damage-wise too. So we have Sims today. We're going to look at these, and then we're going to look at it a little bit in-game, because you can also optimize this trinket a lot depending on how you're playing, your cooldown windows, and there's probably a higher skill ceiling than what people even think here, and depending on how things line up in Sims, might even be higher than it seems. So I guess just showing all three here. Entropic Skardyn Core is this. Baseline crit, your spells have a chance to destabilize void energy, releasing a corrupted fragment. Now I've seen it's 2 ppm, which is pretty high for this trinket also. So essentially being 2 ppm with a 15-second duration, as long as they don't proc back to back and are absorbed. The effect does not stack. It does not increase duration either. Like if you absorb one, it gives 15-second duration. If you soak up another one 5 seconds later, it goes back to 15. It doesn't go from 15 to 25 or whatever. It doesn't extend the duration. It's just, hey, if you suck one up, you get the int buff and a 15-second duration to that buff. It doesn't double the effect of the int, doesn't increase the duration, but there is that. Now, the cool thing, we'll look at it in a little bit in combat here, you can stagger these if you play it properly. So weak aura might be needed for this for active cores. But regardless, gives you a buff of int for 15 seconds and increases your crit baseline. We all know Ruby, baseline int, crit, draws a soul into you, more crit for lower health in the mob, and Blaziken Wax is baseline int as well. You have a chance to imbue the wax, causing it to form into a blazing candle for 15 seconds, which increases your verse by X amount, further increased by X when you remain within its light. So also not as bad as like absorbing cores from Skardyn Core initially, but what we're going to be looking at today is Skardyn Core for the most part. So I have Sims here for Warlock stuff. I would sim this for your own class. I'm not sure where it lands for everybody else, but yeah. Now, jumping into Sims here, I have Destro, Demon AF, and single target versus AoE. I'll hit on certain things we need to hit on here with trinkets and interactions and all that. Number one, for all these Sims, it's going to show heroic for this tooltip here. I simmed all the trinkets that my character is wearing at 678. I have this at 678 in game. I don't have this at 678, but you can see in the HTML report, I did increase the eye level on all these. You can go to the sim right here, my baseline character sim, and you can see that Jug is simming at 678 right here. 678, the stats are higher in the sim. It's like it's a tooltip issue, not displaying whatever, it doesn't matter. It's 678, right? And I've confirmed it in other sims too. Now, interestingly enough, so obviously you have Eye of Kazan simming a little higher here at 678 in slot 1 over House of Cards. Destro is very good. I mean, you play double equip for Destro now as like your highest simming trinket combination with Muggs' Moxie Jar and House of Cards. Or sorry, with Muggs' Moxie Jar and I have Kazan being double equip, right? I have a Mythic House of Cards in game, so I'm currently playing this, but it's still very close. Now, I have Kazan obviously gains more value the longer fights go on. If a fight lasts for 8 minutes, it'll have more value than this at 5 because you had that max stack primary stat longer and it deals damage for a longer period of time. It's similar to like Spy Master. The longer fights were, as long as you got cooldowns and all that, it got more stacks, it was more powerful. But if you look here, Entropic Skardyn Core in slot 1 is 3,000 less DPS comparatively to a Mythic House of Cards for Destro. House of Cards is still good for destruction, right? Blaziken Wax is here, it's fine. Even in slot 2, over what is simming, this once again a Mythic Muggs' Moxie Jug at 678, it's a 17,000 DPS loss. But like, if you're looking at this, I mean, this right here is simming Entropic Skardyn Core with Mythic Mugs' Moxie Jug. And it's basically a 3,000 DPS loss over playing like it's like a 6,000 DPS loss, give or take, over Mythic I Have Kazan and Mythic Mugs' Moxie Jug. It's a 3,000 loss over Mythic House of Cards and Mythic Mugs' Moxie Jug, which is really close. The fact that you can just buy this and getting all 12s done on the Dinar vendor next week versus having to go into the raid and kill Mythic Gallywix and Mythic Bandit and Mugsy is insane. Like, this is actually looking really good. Blaziken Wax is a bit behind, but there's a bit of a gimmick standing in the light, whatever. This is just like, hey, the orbs move into you. This thing is looking pretty solid, and it gets even better. Briefly looking at Destro and AoE, I did throw I Have Kazan in here, obviously, like we said. Shorter sim here, minute, 10 targets. I Have Kazan doesn't stack, it's terrible, it's just here for the general template. This sim's a bit misleading, just I wanted to point it out in case y'all run your own sims, because it's showing like double on use being very good here. Like the highest thing is Ruby in slot 2, with House of Cards being in slot 1. It's a minute sim. It's getting both on use trinkets being used together. You're going to typically play one on use and one equip, like House of Cards, Jug, or at the same time, there could even be a world where you just play like Jug and Trope with Skardyn Core. Skardyn Core sitting here in slot 2 and slot 1. Blaziken Wax is here too, once again, a little gimmicky, but point being, like, it's not horrendous, and this is skewed in an odd direction. So when it comes to Destro and single target, it's actually really good. And even in M plus with AoE, it's not bad at all. And if you high roll this, like proc-wise, it can be even better. Shifting gears here, this is where things get really interesting. This is my own gear. This is my own character. So like compared to BIS profiles, it might be skewed a little bit. This is a 5-minute, one boss target, demonology, single target sim. Once again, I have on Mythic House of Cards and Mythic Mugs and Moxie Jug. It's just like, it's just tooltip error here. It's 678 in the sim. This is the profile here. Blaziken Wax is beating out Mugs and Moxie Jar. And just to confirm, once again, I'll show that it is indeed 678 because this tooltip thing is to be annoying. But here, the Jug is indeed simming at 678. It's right here. There you go. Bang, 678. This has Entropic Skardyn Core ahead of Mugs' Moxie Jug, which I have heard is under simming by maybe a percent give or take for demo. Maybe. But still, even if it's under simming by a little bit, it's a 12,000 DPS game with under simming. It's still very, very close to a Mythic Mugs' Moxie Jug, right? Which is very, very good. And obviously, House of Cards is just very good for demo in the first place. Blaziken Wax, not bad either, but once again, you have to stand in the light. Maybe it's easy, maybe it's not. This is sort of set it and forget it now, right? It's beating out a Mythic I Have Kazan. Albeit it's like I Have Kazan and House of Cards. Eye's not as good for demo as it is like Destro and stuff, but still, if you made this fight longer, I would rise up. But like, this thing is beating out a Mythic I Have Kazan at 678, right? This looks very good. And the fact that it's 2 RPPM is pretty solid. And you can also game with this trinket, which we're going to look at in a minute here in combat, which makes it even more impactful. Looking at minute sims, or sorry, AoE sims here for demonology, I mean, it's not bad. In slot 2, they're all in slot 2 here. Once again, if you can make this work, sorry, fine, whatever, give or take. But honestly, like, it's not far off. You know, it's what, 91k off of 91k worse than a Mugs' Moxie Jug in AoE. Obviously, yeah, Jug's better, but like, you got to kill Mythic Mugsy in the raid for this. You got to kill Mythic Galley for this. You got to kill Mythic Bandit for this. Like, this is more than fine. You got to go do a plus 12 for this, dude. Right? Like, that's really good. So it's important and worth keeping that in mind. Ruby isn't this good. Just double on use, simming weird with a minute sim. Wax is fine too, but Skardyn Core looks very, very good. Right? And looking at Affliction here, Skardyn Core, not as strong as a Mythic Mugs' Moxie Jug. And once again, this is indeed myth, not heroic. It's max 678. Jug is good for AF. It was changed during later PTR of 11.1 to gain stacks off of dot and hot based effects. So like, Jug is good for AF. Like, it's not going to sim or out sim Jug here, but a 17,000 DPS loss, which you can buy once again from the Dinar vendor, but it's running at 12, or maybe it's the 12 achievement, I don't know. That is still much easier than killing Mythic Bandit, Mythic Mugsy, Mythic Galley, right? This thing is not that far behind, and once again, you can game the effect. I mean, yes, I have Kazan. Like, obviously, you know, longer the fight goes on, it's better. It'll be higher than Skardyn Core here, but it's beating out a Mythic I Have Kazan in a single target 5-minute Affliction sim, which is like, once again, not the best, not the worst, but still, this trinket is good. You have your AoE sim here for AF. Once again, I mean, it's skewed because of double on use, and like this is not bad either. But once again, do you want to kill mythic bosses for this, or do you just want to go do a few 12s, tier 12s, whatever? You can even buy 12s at this point, right? You know, not saying to do it. Don't hate me, but like, dude, Skardyn Core. Let's look at this in game. I can show you the changes to how it functions and why it might even be better than it seems here in Sims. All right, so I am lucky enough to have a heroic Skardyn Core in game. I haven't upgraded it, and I mean, Myth 1's obviously what I want in the long run, possibly. But even at Hero 3 out of 6, it's giving 11,000 intellect when it procs. It's 2 RPPM, and if it procs in like a staggered manner, you're going to have 11k bonus int for about half a minute, every minute, give or take. Now, the cool thing about this trinket, I'm going to get in combat here. I don't know when it's going to proc, but we'll see, is that it's proc right there. The core is now moved to you. I'm standing still, and here they come. Right now, when it used to proc, you know, I'll absorb it now, and there's my 11k int buff. Now, when it used to proc, this is not an optimal rotation here either, just to clarify. You would have to run over to the core, then like run into it to get the actual effect, which is pretty annoying. I'm not going to want to do that. I'm not going to move for things when M+ is going on, or I'm doing a lot of AoE, boss fights, mechanics, so on and so forth. Right. That's annoying. I don't want to do it. But the cool thing about this is that you can basically just AFK and not even look for it to proc anymore, and it'll just come to you. And on top of that, if it procs again here, so you can game this trinket. Now, Sims don't account for this. I don't know how you'd even account for this in Sims, but I was looking through a lot of the APLs in Sims, and most of the time, like a decent bit of time, like it doesn't even have Skardyn Core proccing with, like, or you being used with your Dark Lair, your Infernal, your Tyrant. If I move from this core, see it spawned right here? Watch this. It's coming to me. It's still moving. If I move from this core, it follows me. And it will stay active for a long time, right? So I'm going to circle now. It's still coming. It's still moving. I'm going to move over here. It's still chasing me. It still hasn't stopped. And there's another core coming in now. So I'm going to absorb this. Okay, it expired, but it lasted forever. I can keep moving now. And the cool thing about this is, like, most of the time you wouldn't want to do this. If you're trying to, like, hyper optimize something, you see a core chasing you. Let's say, for example, I have, like, let's wait for another core to proc here, give or take, right? Because it'll proc pretty soon. I guess you want this one. That expired eventually. I think they last about half a minute, right? But let's say I'll fish for another proc here. Let's say I have my cooldowns coming up. Like, here's my Dark Lair and stuff, right? Here's Dark Lair, here's Singularity and Soul Rot. Let's say, for example, I'm on a fight. I have a little bit of leeway with cooldowns. Or I'm in M+, or something's happening, and I can say I want to hold my cooldowns for 5 or 10 seconds. Sorry, I want to drag the core around for like 5 or 10 seconds and then suck the core up later with cooldowns, right? I can do that. I can say, all right, I have my Dark Lair. Let's say I have Dark Lair in 10 seconds here. A core just spawned in. So like, yeah, I want to have this buff for my Dark Lair, right? But I don't have Dark Lair yet. So I'll move around a little bit. Okay, it's almost near me. I'm going to circle away. I'm going to run away. I'm dragging it around. Okay, now I have Dark Lair in 2 seconds, right? Now I can Singularity. Now I can Soul Rot, Trinket Potion, whatever. Dark Lair, bang, yoink it. I have House of Cards stacked here with the effect. Obviously not optimal CDs here, but like you can literally drag it around and delay and get like essentially almost the perfect guarantee like double on use window with your cooldowns. Previously, I have to run to the orb and grab it and stuff and then do that. I can just drag this thing around for half a minute, right? And just, okay, now I have CDs, bang, cool, good to go. Even if it procs like at a weird time where it's like 20-ish seconds before your cooldowns, it lasts a while. Let's see, let's fish for another proc here and see how long it lasts. Here's a stopwatch, right? It's not going to proc now because I talked about it, but I mean, that's the cool thing. If you want to hyper optimize it, you can. Stopwatch. See how long it lasts for. I think it's about half a minute, right? If you want to hyper optimize it, you can. If you want to just run right into it when it spawns, you can do that too. You can walk into it if you want to. I mean, I've had 2 spawn back to back at times as well, and like, okay, I can just stagger them, right? You can even, yeah, if 2 proc back to back, you can just stagger them. You absorb 1 if you're keeping an eye on another one, and when your first buff expires, walk into the next one. It's still active. It's been 27 seconds. Like it lasts half a minute, right? Now the downside about like staggering them in a weird manner is they don't actually. There's one again. You don't get like double the intellect, right? For example, it's a good spawn. I'll yoink one up here, 15 seconds, 10k int. Go over here, watch duration. Just refreshes and gives 10k int again. But if I staggered those in a fashion where, all right, this one's expiring, now I move to that one, like right here, a third one procced, right? This is insane. Cool. It's gonna move to me. So like right about now, the buff's gone. Guess what? It's back again. And this is a 3, and there's another one right there. I can move again. This is 3 out of 6 hero. This is not max myth. Max myth's gonna give way more. Like, here, oh, buff's gonna fall in 4 seconds. Cool. You want that? I don't want that one yet. I'll move a little bit again. Just keep kiting it around. It's near me. Oh, just circle away, run away. Oh, there's another one again. Let's just grab it again. Cool, there's a buff. Keep running around. And it's almost like snowballing now, because they had 2 good procs back to back, and now it's just procking more, right? Like, I don't want this buff yet. I don't want it yet. I don't want it. I don't want it. Yeah, I'll take it now. Sure, why not? Yoink. Get another one to spawn, maybe? I have 15 seconds for another one to spawn. I'm just chaining a passive 11k int buff here at 3 out of 6 hero, right? So, I mean, the upside on this trinket is actually insane. Like, the ruby buffs and BlazeCon wax buffs were nice. They were fine, whatever. And here's some bad RNG also. But, like, this trinket has a really high upside. A really high, like, skill ceiling if you want to. If you want to call it that. If you have one, and it's like a free upgrade, I'd do it. If it's in your vault, I'd do it. Depending on what you're rating, if you want like a Jasper Diamond, if you kill down Heroic and stuff too, I would at least consider this trinket. Like, highly consider this trinket for one of your 3 dinars, whether it's, you know, first, second, or third, depending what you're doing and where your gear is at. Skardyn Core seems really good. Yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. Wraps it up. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it wasn't too long. I tried to like not yap as much here as I usually do and stuff in these more recent videos, I should say. But hopefully it gave you all a better look understanding of what Entropic Skardyn Core looks like. At the same time, BlazeCon Wax, Ruby, you know, hey, they're not bad either. But Skardyn Core looks to be pretty good and pretty gameable. Pretty solid, depending what you're doing with it and stuff too. So, Turbo Boost is out in like 5 days from this point, and I might put out a video in a few days also looking at like the best dinar purchases depending what you're doing, trying to optimize around like what you guys should be buying, looking at buying, targeting. But in the end, a lot of it's just like running your own sims, seeing what gear you have on your own. Maybe you want a Jasper Diamond, maybe you want a Jug or an Eye of Kazan or a House of Cards you've killed Heroic or Mythic, or I don't think it even requires heroic kills anymore. Maybe you just want to buy a Skardyn Core. Who knows? It's pretty good. So we'll see where it goes. But if you guys want any weak cores or add-ons, links to Twitch, Discord, all down below, as well as up here. Website. Like always, a huge thank you to all supporters on Patreon. Every time, y'all. Thank y'all so much for all support. I greatly appreciate it. If you look at supporting a Patreon, should also be a link up here as well as down below in the description. I'm gonna be honest. I'm pumped for Turbo Boost Week. I've been calling it the patch, like just subliminally, for the past like 2 or 3 weeks now. The patch came out like a month ago, but this is the patch to me. Patch is coming out for me at least next week. I'm excited for it. Hopefully you guys are too. Gonna grind a bunch of keys that day when it comes out, get a bunch of crests coming in, upgrade some stuff. And honestly, I mean, I'm buying a diamond first, a Jasper Diamond. This is my vault. But I'm not even kidding. If I open a diamond in my vault, I've already got a mythic Eye of Kazan. I've got a mythic House of Cards. It's probably Jug if I open a Jasper Diamond in my vault. But I'm tempted to buy a Skardyn Core. Not even kidding. Yeah, so we'll see where it goes. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, like and sub, helps out a ton. Pushing for 100k this year. GG, GN. I'll see y'all again soon. Peace.